We have some incredible moments in our readings. The first, I just want to go back to that first reading, just to establish the context a bit. Elijah, here he is, he's hiding out in a cave. Why is he even there? Well, he's there because he's just been preaching to these pagan people, to these 450 pagan prophets, to tell them that their pagan gods are not as strong as his God. And so it ends with him calling down fire on all of them, which I think utter destruction has followed. And then the response from Queen Jezebel is, well, someone needs to assassinate Elijah. So he's running for his life, and he's hiding in this cave. And so here he is, he's in this cave, and of course he hears God's whispering sound, and he takes that time to pray. And the part that I really want to focus on for a moment, just for us this evening, is this. Notice that for both Elijah and Jesus, they're going through crazy things, and they both found time to pray. Elijah, his life is literally at stake. There's people trying to kill him, and he found time to pray and spend that with the Lord. And here's Jesus. We know what's happened with Jesus the past several weeks. He's healed people. He's been healing lots of people. And then last week, he fed not just 5,000, it's more like 15,000, because it's 5,000 men, not including women and children, so we'll call it 15,000. So Jesus has been very busy. And then he sends his disciples away on the boat, and he finds time to pray. And the first point for us simply is this: whether we're going through really hard things, or we feel like the world is out to get us like Elijah, or we're just really, really busy like Jesus, and we're really tired, what's the most important thing we can do? To make space for God and to pray. That's number one. One of the things that you'll hear more about, because we just entered into this partnership with Hallow, but you can sign up with Hallow on your phone and join the St. Thomas page through the Hallow app, but it's a wonderful way to help you learn to pray. They've got all of these devotionals and different things in our Catholic tradition on there, so if you're interested and you need help, call the office and we'll help you get that set up on your phone and your account. But Hallow is a great way to grow in prayer in your life. The second, I think, really important thing for us to draw from these readings is to focus on the right thing and not to be worried about all the wrong things. One of the greatest joys of being a priest is when you go to a wedding for a couple that just loves Jesus. And that was yesterday for me. I got to go to this wedding for this couple that, coincidentally enough, is here tonight. You should stand now. They hate me, I know it. Thomas and Annie, can we congratulate these two? You could sit. I know I'm in trouble. I'm totally in trouble for that. But I was going to do that at the end of Mass, but it just made sense now because I'm going to talk about Annie for a second. First of all, Annie's dad gave a really good speech yesterday at the wedding, and he talked about his beautiful daughter and as she was entering into this marriage with Thomas. And one of the things he talked, I hope it's okay I tell this story. I should have asked your permission. She just gave it to me now, so we're good. But, when Annie was in 8th grade and she was preparing for her confirmation, she chose Martha as her patron saint. And so her dad asked her, well, why did you choose Martha? And she said, because I noticed that I'm worried often about the wrong things in my life. And I want to focus more on Jesus. And of course, her dad's like, I'm doing something right with this girl. But how true is that for all of us? How true is that? Where we focus and we get worried about all the wrong things. We know what that's like. We know what that experience is. We all do this. Elijah had that temptation in the first reading where there's an earthquake, there's fire, there's a storm. You could easily say, you know what? There's a good reason why you didn't notice God's whispering sound. You had all this crazy stuff going on around you. It would have been easy to focus and be worried about the wrong thing. And of course, Peter does it. Peter gets out of the boat and he worries about the wrong thing. He sees the waves and he falls into the sea. It's easy for us. We know this. And so what do we need when we're worried about things? Well, we need a non-anxious person to enter into our life. We need Jesus. It's kind of like, one of the things Kathy does so well with our students in the school, especially as they're preparing to sing and cantor at the school mass, it's a little terrifying to get up in front of your peers and for the school mass. And so what she does is she stands with them as they sing and they cantor the psalm. Why? Because there's something about a non-anxious presence being there with them that helps them get through it. Or how about any of us where we're maybe an important doctor's appointment, and what do we either want our mom or we want a friend with us? Why? Because we need a non-anxious person there with us to help us get through the thing. And so what does Jesus want of us? He wants us to know that, yes, this world is crazy, and at times we're going to be worried about all the wrong things, and he wants us to go to him as the non-anxious presence in our lives to carry us through. That's the second thing. And the third thing, to be willing to leave the place of safety and to go into danger, like Peter. Peter, we always talk about Peter when he makes a mistake, but in this gospel, we should definitely applaud Peter for his virtue. He's willing to leave the safety of a boat and to go out into a stormy sea where he thinks he sees Jesus. Would you do that? I'm not sure I would, but he does. He's willing to leave the place of safety and to go into the place of danger. This is a little bit a stark contrast for Peter because we just celebrated the Transfiguration on August 6th, a couple days ago. And if you don't remember, that's when Jesus goes up the mountain and he talks to Elijah and Moses, and his face is turned into dazzling white, and the Heavenly Father speaks, "This is my son, listen to him." And then Peter's like, "Let's just stay here. This is great." Because it's the safe place. And here we are today. And Peter is being called out of the safe place into danger. And here's the reality for you and me as Christians. We can stay where it's safe, but we'll never grow. We'll never grow. Here's an example sacramentally. It's easy and safe to come to Mass every weekend. It's dangerous. It's terrifying to go to confession. But why does the Lord invite us into that sacrament? So that he can heal and help us grow. Or an example from works of charity. It's easy and safe to join a Bible study. These are good things, by the way. I'm not saying they're bad things. But that's a safe thing to do. But sometimes the Lord maybe invites us to go serve the homeless, or to join a prison ministry, or some other work of charity or corporal work of mercy that the Lord might put on your heart. And why does he invite us to do that? Because he wants us to grow. And he wants us to follow him into the danger. And so the challenge for us this weekend is simply this: make time for prayer. Recognize when you focus on the wrong things and invite Jesus into that moment as the non-anxious person. And to recognize where in your heart is Jesus calling you to leave the place of danger, to the place of safety, into the place of danger. Why? For your own spiritual growth in him.